We back. We back, man. You already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 show.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, you already know what time it is. It's the 50-50 show with myself, PharoahNFL, obviously my guy, the Severe Raider. Make sure to clock in. On the way in, man, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Man, we got hey, the Raiders officially introduced their head coach Clint Kubiak today with an official presser today. I felt like it was a lot more grand and more dramatic of an introduction than Pete Carroll. You know, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that conversation and why I think that. I haven't had a chance to chop it up with my guy Severe, so we'll be able to have that conversation. Man, everybody pulling up, man. We appreciate y'all. Ken in the building. He's already on it. He's also, I liked how he said he has to earn the trust of the fans so they don't have to come to home games. Not like Pete when he was begging fans. Hey, man. Hey, you know what? I feel like the Raiders view this as like a home run hire. They viewed it as a home run hire. And like I said, man, Edgar in the building, man, appreciate you pulling up. Vic, I know the intro, we're working on our new intro, so we'll get that done hopefully soon. My guy Severe, he definitely has his thoughts on the presser. Larry in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. What's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up, my guy. Original Raider, Mad Maxx, a Raider all the way. Okay.
Got the 98 in the middle, so we know who he's a fan of.
No, thanks. Yeah, no, appreciate everybody pulling up. We'll get into the Maxx Crosby. I feel like the Maxx Crosby conversation is like that's like a weekly thing. We keep talking about it. And we'll get into it. I know last week.
New stuff comes out every week.
New stuff comes out a week, which tells me is that some of it is true, some of it is not true. But then at the end of the day, where there's smoke, there's fire. And then when you look at the situation and logically just look at it and not have no emotions, you're like, you know what? It does make sense to go this direction. And we'll get into that conversation too as well. But Severe, man, just real quick, man. Let's get into it, man. What did you think of the Clint Kubiak presser? He had the whole squad. He had like former players. I don't think I've ever seen that at a introductory head coach presser. Former players.
For the Raiders?
Not for the Raiders. I just in the NFL. I never seen like.
Oh yeah, it happens. It happened before. For the Raiders, I can't think of a time that's happened.
Not for the Raiders, but like it's happened before. I don't know. Like former NFL players just sitting on the table, just like, yeah, this is the guy that we got. You know, usually they're in the crowd.
Oh, like part of. Oh, but it's part of it.
Bro,
yeah,
they were sitting down with him, like spy tech in the middle, which is important. That was key. It looks like they're saying, hey, spy tech. Here's the keys, but we all know the guy in the background is still there. You know what I mean? But he wasn't there, but he was there in spirit. Tom Brady. You got Clint Kubiak, obviously the head coach, and then you had like Rich Gannon. You had all these guys, Charles. Like you just had all these guys, former Raider players. I've never seen that, and the Raiders. I'll give them this: like they embrace the players like no other.
Exactly. That's the main reason.
If anything, if a player was like, hey, is the team that I would go to, like imagine if the Raiders were good, I think they probably would have the best reputation potentially. Oh, yeah. Like their ceiling is just because they're proven to treat players well, bad or good. In a bad state of the franchise, obviously the Raiders have been trash for years. but they still bring back former players. So I thought that was interesting. But Severe, man, the elephant in the room. Let's just address the elephant in the room. What's going on over here, man? I literally was like, hey, Severe, hey, we about to start. And then I just see this. He just waking up from a nap. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. I was watching that Clint Kubiak press conference, man, and next thing I know, we going live, bro. I closed my eyes, and next thing we know, we going live, man. You talk about where there's smoke, there's fire. I can tell you where there was absolutely no fire at all. And that was at that press conference. That was probably one of the dullest, most uninspiring, boringest press conferences I've ever seen. And I know Raider Nation will be, oh my God, I love it. He did a great job. But that's what they do every year. And that's what I expect fans to do, because fans are going to fan. I'm not here to fan. I'm here to give you honest opinions. And like I said, it was dull, uninspiring. I didn't hear any conviction in his voice at all. He didn't speak with confidence. He didn't speak with authority. He was saying a lot of ifs. Oh, if we do this, if we do that. Bro, don't tell me if you can do it. I can tell you if something's going to happen. Tell me this is what I'm going to do. We're going to build a bully. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, if we get the right guys in place, and if I get guys to believe, and if you're the coach. You control the if. So tell me what you're going to do. Don't tell me what you think you're going to do, or if this happens. If ifs was fifths, what they say, we all be drunk. Like, I don't want to care about an if. Tell me what you finna do. And that's not something he was doing. No confidence. No command. I didn't sense any kind of leadership. It was just a whole bunch of mealy-mouthed, monotoned, half promises that we've heard before, bro. Like, it was just, like I said. And an introductory press conference isn't the end-all, be-all. So him, based on his coach, he got the job based on his resume, and what he did in the press conference, that doesn't determine the trajectory of what he's going to be as a head coach. So this is just like, it's really insignificant. In the grand scheme of things, the introductory press conference. But you always want to get off on a good foot. You want to have a good first impression. And if we're judging coaches just based off their first impression, this is a D at best.
I think what you said at the end is exactly what it is. It's not, I'm not going to judge it too much right now. I'm not going to judge it too much because, like you said, there's been other coaches who've come in. Like, I remember Ben Johnson's presser. When I seen it, it was like, this is giving me Adam, the former head coach for the Jets.
Adam Gase?
Adam Gase vibes. I was just like, this dude's kind of a little bit awkward and just like, kind of intense, but awkward at the same time. Like, I'm like, is this going to be a major fail at head coach? Is this going to be another? So I'm not going to use that against him. Obviously, his energy was like super chill. Not a guy that's too high.
Non-existent. Energy was non-existent.
He's not too high, not too low, but at the end of the day, for me, my observation, I was looking at everything. I was looking at how the Raiders went about like introducing a Clint Kubiak. It's almost like, compare this to when they introduced Pete Carroll, night and day. Yeah. And we know Pete Carroll has his resume, but I'm just basing it off, how did they introduce Pete Carroll? Yeah, they did the small little videos, like, Pete Carroll coming in the building, took the customary pictures. Look, if you're a Raider fan, you've seen quite a few of these. You've seen quite a few of these introductory conferences. But this one felt different. The Raiders feel like they got their guy. They feel like they got a home run coach. This is the home run hire. This is how they feel. I'm not going off what, you have your opinions. You have the what ifs. But at the end of the day, the Raiders came out in full force. Former Raider players up there in the presser with them. Spy Tech in the middle over there. Did Mark Davis even talk?
Not during the presser. He hasn't. You want to talk about what they did in terms of the pressers. This is a step above Pete Carroll. It's a major step above Antonio Pierce, but it's a significant step below what they did for Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nah. No.
I rewatched the Josh McDaniels one. It's a significant step below.
They did because Mark, I think, learned from that whole situation because he came out there, he was talking, he was all happy, like he was excited.
Time out. You said no, but now you're qualifying why it is.
No. I'm telling you what actually happened. But I'm also
I remember what happened. I rewatched it.
But let me finish though. Let me finish. I'm saying what happened. What happened was that like Mark was up there. He was up there and all giddy and like, one thing that I told him was it a fumble? Making those corny jokes that, are hella obvious for former Patriots to come in the building. I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was to this level. Just the amount of people that were there. Yeah. Like former players up there with former great, look at Rich Gannon was there. Charles Woodson was there. Few other, like Howie, like man, usually these guys would be in the crowd.
Yeah.
And that in itself is notable. That for them to even show up like that, that's notable. Like they're there because they're trying to support the next head coach for the team. But they were actually up there supporting this hire. Like this is the guy. This is the guy that we wanted, and this is the guy that Spytek wanted. I'm sure this is the guy that Tom Brady wanted. And I don't think Mark Davis not being up there is not him not liking the hire. It's more so like Mark Davis he wants to be in the background.
Yeah.
He's learning from his mistake because in the years past, I think he didn't like the feedback or the clash, he didn't like the intention being on him.
But that's why I think that's the difference is that in terms of production, like I said, this is nowhere near the production that was put on for Josh McDaniels. But what they did do was they removed Mark Davis and then they added players. So they could have had these same players that were at this press conference. They would have been there for Josh McDaniels. They probably would have been there for Pete Carroll too. But what they're trying to do with this one, that what they learned from is that I don't want this to be a Mark Davis looking situation to have the stamp of Mark Davis. I don't even want it to necessarily be like this is the stamp of Tom Brady or the stamp of John Spytek. I want this to have the stamp of Charles Woodson. I want this to have the stamp of Rich Gannon. I want this to have the stamp of Howie. So like they're bringing the most important players of the past, 25, 30 years up there to stamp the hire, to put their name on it. Does that mean it's going to be a good hire? No. It's just that they've learned the lesson of, okay, we're going to build. He doesn't have a resume to build on. Like Pete Carroll had 20, 30 years of a resume to get people excited. Mm-hmm. So they can lean in on Pete Carroll's resume to say, this is why this is a good hire.
Yeah.
They can't do that with Kubiak, right? Kubiak has had one successful year as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So and he was the most touted, hire in this cycle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing they can really lean on. And obviously he doesn't have the charisma himself. Antonio Pierce can sell a press conference himself.
Right.
Pete Carroll can sell a press conference himself. Even Josh McDaniels, right? And all those guys had great pressers, and none of them did a good job. So
right.
I'm saying, so the introductory presser isn't the end all be all. But I'm saying the production part of why they put on or brought these players out was for that very reason.
Yeah.
And because I don't think Clint ain't going to sell himself.
Right. And his greatest strength is not something that you would see in a presser. You know what I mean? His greatest strength is his offensive mind. Like he is a great offensive minded coach, or at least he proved it this year with Seattle and leading them and being part of that coaching staff to win a Super Bowl and being part of that offense that was one of the best offenses in the NFL. My thing is you spoke about his presence and things like that. I don't think it's, if you look at all these coaches, a lot of these offensive gurus or whatever, they really don't have the presence. The only guy that one of the only guys, and if we start coming out with names of guys that have like that presence where you could, when you first hear him, you be like, oh man, like obviously the obvious one is Gruden. You know what I mean? Your offensive minded coach. But then these are the guys from years past. I think the future of head coaches, I think the defensive minded coaches haven't lost it. Like they got presence. A lot of defensive minded coaches, they got a lot of presence. But the offensive guys, it's kind of like, look at the Mike McDaniels,
Mike McDaniels has presence.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. People confuse presence with you got to be like.
You talking about confidence? You talking about confidence?
Confidence, conviction, charisma, the ability to communicate a message and convey the excitement of the message. That's presence. Clint Kubiak had, Mike McDaniel has all of that. Ben Johnson has all of that. Kyle Shanahan he didn't in Atlanta. It was kind of hit or miss. But now with the 49ers, he did. Like I said, I went back and watched Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta. He had way more than Kubiak. But him, it was hit or miss.
I don't know.
Since he's had the head coaching job and he's been the head coach with the 49ers, now you see it and feel it more. The only one that really, like, I can see that was really like, he still really don't got it, to my opinion, is like Steichen. It's still like, Steichen's kind of cringy. But even Liam Cohen, like when he was with the Bucks, he get up there and he's just comfortable, confident, command. You convey his message with confidence. You believe what he's saying. You believe that he believes what he's saying. You don't believe that he's telling you something that you think you want to hear, or telling you something, some notes that he wrote down the night before because that's what he thinks he should say. And that's important. You know, it's about being able to convey that message with excitement. And there is not an ounce of excitement in anything that Sean, like he's telling you he's excited in the most monotone voice. I'm just really excited to be here with the Raiders. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get out there with the guys. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what is this? It's like, it's almost Kawhi Leonard like.
Yeah, but look, like I said, Mike McDaniel, you're going off if he's confident and this, that, and the third. People are monotone. They could be confident too. You can't just do it off how they sound. You know,
not just, but that's why I said it's not about just how he sounds. It's about how he conveys the message. That's the most important part. You can be Bill Belichick was as monotone as they come, but you never doubted that Bill Belichick had conviction in everything he said.
But you're talking about, but the conviction that you're talking about is what he's going to say to the team. That's when it really matters. Is he going to have that conviction when he communicates? When he communicates that
he doesn't.
I don't know about that.
No. I know he doesn't. There's a former player that said he doesn't, and we got the clip. We can roll it for notable quotables. There's a former player that said he doesn't.
All right, we gonna do it. We gonna do it.
So, like I said, bro, like I've done my research, bro. Like I don't get up here and say anything just to say it. Everything I say, I've done and I researched. That's why every time somebody says, "What about this coach?" Oh yeah, I went back and watched his pressers. What about Mike McDaniel? Oh yeah, I went back to watch his pressers. What about Ben Johnson? I watched his introductory press conference, wasn't great. I went back and watched him with the Lions, much better. Liam Cohen, introductory press conference, not great. Went back and watched him with the Bucks and with the Rams, much better. So I've done my research on all of this stuff. So I'm not getting up here just talking and just to talk. I went back and watched all of Clint Kubiak's press conferences with the Seahawks too. And 95% of the time, this is the Clint Kubiak you get. So does that mean he's going to be a bad coach? No. I mean, like I said, this is just a small piece of the puzzle. And the next most important piece of that puzzle is the staff he builds around him. Because just because he doesn't have that in him, what you want to do when you're a head coach, you hire for your weaknesses. If you understand your blind spots, hey, you know what? I'm not a motivator. What am I going to do? My offensive coordinator, he's going to be a master motivator. My defensive coordinator, he's going to be a motivator. My assistant head coach or O-line coach or whatever, they're going to be a motivator because I understand my thing is scheming. I love to scheme. I love to call plays. You know, like, that's what I do. That's my passion. That's where my passion is at. My where I fall short is this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I get a guy that has this in spades. That way I have that other guy to kind of lean on. So that way I can play off my strengths and maybe my strengths play off of his.
Yeah. And hey, look, like I said, I'm not saying he has the presence of, you know, the great head coaches that have that alpha presence. You know what I mean? Like John Gruden, he had it. He had that it factor. You could tell, like, as soon as he walked into the building, like, oh, he's a head coach. Even Jim Harbaugh, he has that, like, when he walks in the building, oh yeah, that's the head coach. You know, but there are guys, and I think we might have played this on notable quotables, possibly. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it was a former linebacker for the Patriots, and he was making a point about how a lot of the players now they really respond to coaches that are really good with X's and O's, really good with X's and O's. Now, obviously, he said what he said, but we know there's some guys that are not head coaches. Some guys are just better coordinators, a la, Josh McDaniels. But I thought it was interesting that he pointed that out, that like some of the guys that you think that like wouldn't make great head coaches, but they're really great with X's O's. Those are the guys like that. He's saying these are the guys that their teams are really responding to because they believe in what they're saying, because they are putting together a plan that they believe in based off what the plan is. So now
the other stuff matters too, though, because like you point out, Josh McDaniels, perfect example. Mike McDaniel, perfect example. Of guys that I think Mike McDaniel was probably, of all the people that were available this offseason, I think he's the best schemer, best play caller of any of them. But he couldn't lead the team, even though he had conviction and he had charisma and his own quirky way of being. He couldn't get it done. Same thing with Josh McDaniels, right? Like Josh McDaniels.
Well, he went to the playoffs 2 out of 4 years. Like
but I'm saying like towards the end, like I said, Mike McDaniel was one of my he was my third coach.
Because I want to because I don't want to make it seem like, damn, I'm a
complete failure.
Yeah, because it was just a situation where they went in a different direction. He came in and it was a radio quarterback that he didn't draft, a flawed quarterback. You know what I mean? Yeah. If we're being honest. And then obviously he has some pieces there on offense, you know what I mean, led by Tyreek Hill and stuff like that. But he maximized that. He brought into Darren Waller, who was left for dead, came out of retirement. What's Darren Waller going to do? He's probably done. You know, he comes in, makes some plays for them, you know, but that's neither here or there. Obviously, we're hoping for the best with the coach at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not going to act like it was like I'm super excited as far as what he said and how he said it or whatever. But some of the things that he was saying as far as, you know, like, hey, like we got to go out there. I took that as like, I think he understands based off what Spytek was saying to him. And especially Spytek kind of started it off this offseason by saying that they're here for the process. They're here to do it right and not just, if we win right away, we win right away. But at the end of the day, like they're trying to build this the right way, which means it's not like, oh, we're trying to rent it. We're trying to go for it next year. You know, and I think that a guy like Kubiak, he understands that. They have the number 1 pick. They have a rookie QB. They have some holes on it. He understands where they're at. So I think that's why he's being very measured on what he's trying to say, unlike a Pete Carroll who sold everybody a dream. So I took it as that, you know, but let's move it on real quick, man. Real quick. It's going to be a short. Yeah. Oh yeah. My guy. Just another DJ, man. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. One of day ones, he says, you think the bar was set low with the way the press conference went? No guarantee, just preach effort over scheme. I don't know if the bar was set low. I think they just understand to me, it just feels like, okay, we're on the same page. The GM said this message, and then like the way Clint Kubiak is sending out his message in the presser, it was like he's not going out here saying we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, we're gonna go do this and do that. He understands that it's gonna be a process, because if he says that he's gonna do that in the first presser, then people are gonna expect that next year.
Yeah, facts.
In reality, like me and you would be like, nah, that's not the case. But like, if you say that in the first presser that we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, everybody's gonna expect all that to happen next year. Me and you could look at the team and be like, nah, that's not gonna probably happen next year. They're gonna get better in some aspects, but they're just gonna continue to build until they can make a consistent winner. Realistically, me and you could, like, you know. But for the most part, if you say that in the first presser, then everybody's expectations is going to go through the roof. And that's what happened to Pete Carroll to a certain extent. Because all offseason, he just kept saying, oh, I haven't won less than 10 games and da-da-da-da, and this, that, and third. So everybody's expectations was all the way to the top. And then when they see what they see, they're like, man, like, this guy's old and we're losing. And he won't play the young players. Like, you see, people start, you know, overanalyzing and over-critiquing and all that type of stuff. But either way, man, I hope it's a successful head coach. I hope we don't have one of these head coach hires again for the next, like, at least 7 to 10 years. You know what I mean? That
would be ideal. At least 3 years, bro. Like, give this man at least 3 years. Let him cook. Yeah. Let him build his staff. Let him get the guys that fit his offense. We see he's a good play caller. We see what he was able to do with the guy like Kenneth Walker. Hey, get him a complimentary back to go with Genty that plays like Kenneth Walker, that has that kind of athleticism, that has that kind of burst to the edge to run the outside zone effectively. You can use Ashton Genty more so on the inside zone. You use Genty more so in the passing game. Like get him a back that can complement Genty, that has that kind of ability. That way, that makes Genty more effective, and it takes some of those carries off his body. But give him the guys that fit his scheme.
Yeah.
Because if he do that, we see he's a good play caller. He's learned from some good offensive minds. So I don't think the scheme is gonna be the issue, But it's like I said, it's that if it was just about scheme, then Mike McDaniel will be one of the best coaches in the NFL. Josh McDaniels will be one of the best coaches in the NFL. You feel me? Like if it was just about your scheme.
Yeah. So this is gonna be a real quick show, man. We just want to get in, get out, talk about the presser real quick. We'll be back and finally get back to Around the Shield this week. We got it. Yeah, sure. We'll continue the conversation. We just wanted to just come here and just chop it up and just give our quick reaction to the presser. This is obviously a shorter edition of the 50-50 show. But real quick, we'll just do a rundown on some of the topics real quick. Some of the things that we want to talk about is how did you feel at Super Bowl? Was it as expected? Pretty much. Wasn't surprised. It seemed boring. Yeah. A little boring.
It was a boring game. I mean, I said before I predicted the Patriots to win, but I said if the Seahawks win, they were going to win by like 2 scores or more, because it was all contingent on them stopping the run game.
Yeah.
If they can stop the Patriots run game, then I felt they were going to dominate the game, and that's what they were able to do. And they were able to stop the run game with 4. They were able to get, I think they got like 5 or 6 hits, and 4, maybe 4 or a couple sacks on Drake May with just rushing 4. Will Campbell was getting destroyed, and when that happened, I knew the Patriots were in trouble early in the game when it was a 3rd and 6 in like the first quarter or maybe early in the second quarter, and they ran the ball. So they didn't even want to put the ball in Drake May's hands on the 3rd and 6. I was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, this game's kind of over. They don't trust Drake May. He's seeing ghosts. They can't protect him. It's a wrap.
Yeah. No, I'm with you because I was like early on, I was like, yeah, Seahawks are going to win this game. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I was kind of giving a little bit of an edge to coaching with the Patriots because they have veteran coaches and Vrabel, who's kind of not win a Super Bowl, but he's been there in the playoffs. He's gotten to conference championship games, and it's his first time in the Super Bowl. So I was like, oh, okay, they got some experience there. And then Josh McDaniels at coordinator, he has a lot of experience devising plans to win multiple Super Bowls with Tom Brady. Key thing though is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, obviously, but he was a part of that coaching staff, that offense. But I wasn't surprised that the better team won, but. Yeah. The Super Bowl was just the definition of the whole entire NFL season. It was just terrible. This is terrible. Oh, this is a terrible. It was like because none of the great teams, the best teams, were really great teams.
No.
Like
it was.
If it was any other year, would the Patriots been in the Super Bowl? Nah, probably not.
Probably not.
Denver, the Broncos, probably not.
If C.J. Stroud played just mediocre football. Just not even good. If you just play like mediocre, the Texans are in the Super Bowl,
bro.
Like the Texans are.
There's a reason why Sean McDermott got fired. There's a reason why Sean McDermott got fired because they thought like they felt like there was an opportunity to get there this year because no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar Jackson, mediocre. Not mediocre, but like quarterbacks that we feel like Josh Allen is better than. If it was crunch time, it was motto a motto. Like you feel like
pretty mediocre. I mean, outside of Drake May obviously had an MVP level season.
I wouldn't call Darnold mediocre. Like I think he's solid. He's risen to being a solid quarterback.
He's risen to be, but like I said, I just think he's been in the same scheme for 3 years, so he's operating at a very high level because he has an extreme understanding of what to do in that scheme and what he wants.
Oh, you're saying the same offense from the Vikings?
Yeah, from Shanahan to the Vikings and now to Kubiak.
Same type of similar system, yeah.
Very so Shanahan got his and wasn't Kubiak? It wasn't he with Kubiak in San Francisco the year they were there together? I want to say the year he was in San Francisco, Kubiak was there.
Yeah.
So as the OC, right? Was he there as the OC? The year Darnold was there? It was like 2 years ago. I want to say because Kubiak took the Saints job last year, and then
the year before the Saints, it was with the 49ers.
Yeah, and Darnold was there, and Kubiak was there, right? As the offensive coordinator, right? So yeah,
not OC, but like passing game specialist type of role.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't a coordinator. Okay. He wasn't a coordinator with the 49ers. I don't know who the coordinator was with the 49ers actually. It wasn't. He was an OC for the Vikings. He was an OC for the Saints, and he obviously was OC for the Seahawks. Yeah. And then everywhere else.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Because 49ers actually had a pretty good offense that year, so it wouldn't have been that year.
Yeah.
Even though he was the pass, I think he was like quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator. So, but like I said, he has some familiarity already because he's coming from that scheme. So that's why I think he was able to just execute at a high level. But even then, he left plenty of stuff on the field, plenty of plays out there, plenty of yards out there. So
yeah, man. Real quick, man. Before we head out, man, there's some crazy things going around in the NFL, man. I guess real quick, flag on the play, real quick. We gotta just address
69.
James Pierce, man. Like, bro, what is he doing?
Bro, insanity, bro.
What is he doing?
Insanity.
What is he doing? Like, he is out here just in a rage, like because he couldn't get. I don't know, man. At first, I just wanted to see more information because sometimes information will come in, but it's everywhere.
The worse you got.
The worse it got. He flew out there. He got in his car. He ran. And if anybody I guess we'll just talk about it real quick. If anybody hasn't heard, James Pierce, the pass rusher that was drafted by the Falcons, who they traded up to get, was recently arrested by the Atlanta police, I guess, because that's where it happened. I believe it happened in Atlanta. Was it Atlanta?
No, I think it was in.
Was it Miami?
Miami. I think it's Miami, and somewhere in Florida.
Either way, terrible situation. His girlfriend breaks up with him, and he didn't take it well, and he just went on he went crazy. He did everything you're not. He threw away his career basically, right in front of the world. Like he's just like, you know what, NFL career, who needs it? Just the millions of dollars, who needs it? All the women that you want
is more important than that.
You know what I mean? He loses a girlfriend, but all the women you got, who needs that? Who needs none of everything that he has? Like, come on, bro. I got no sympathy. I have no sympathy, bro. Come on, you gotta know better. You gotta know better, man. Flag on the play goes to James Pierce, man, for getting arrested for what he got arrested for. Chasing down his girlfriend, running her right in front of the police station too. And he was in like a Lamborghini, chasing her down. Flag on the play, man. Flag on the play on him. But we just want to really address that real quick. And then
want to play? I sent you a quote. Want to play the quote real quick?
Oh yeah. Let's do that. You know what? Damn, I'm gonna have to do this really quick before we head out. You sent it on. You sent on X?
Yeah.
We gonna do this old school. The notable quotable Koob?
Derek Carr.
Okay.
Yeah, Derek Carr. Yeah, Derek Carr on Kubiak, his coaching style.
Okay. Here's Derek Carr on Kubiak and his coaching style.
Clint is very stoic. The tone, I would say the volume of his voice isn't going to change. Mm-hmm. He's right here. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be very clear. We're going to go out to practice, and when we come back in, he's going to say, you got to be quicker. This ball should be gone. You got to get your depth. You got to sell this a little more. This is a great route. Guys, watch this right guard right here. Guys, this is awesome.
You're a professional football player. You're there for that.
This is perfect right here.
So this is to your point. To your point, I guess this is what you're saying.
Look, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Like I said, he just has to make sure the people on his staff can make up for where he lacks in charisma. Like, right? If you're not good at bookkeeping, when you hire for your business, you damn well better have a good bookkeeper that you trust. Yeah. Right? If you're not good at what something else, if you're not good at interviewing or hiring, you damn well better find somebody that you trust that can do that and do a good job at that. Like you got to hire for your weaknesses. So I'm sure that's something he knows, but you know, like I said, he has to get a staff that can fill those gaps.
Yeah, not 100%, man. But damn, he hit the police too. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Oh my God.
Because that's that's his stupid. He's just. I'm sorry, bro. I don't be getting on people like that, but this is dumb. This is dumb, bro. This is dumb, and I want to feel bad, but it's because it's like, damn, like you just literally threw away your. But it's just like, damn, like how do you not like know better, man? But yeah, that's James Pierce, man. Flag on the play. But yeah, man. Hey, man, we just want to get in, get out, man. Just react real quickly with the presser. We'll be back later this week around the Shield, longer show, and then next week we'll have our regular, scheduled programmed 50-50 show with all the things that we love to talk about on the show. He talked a lot about collaborating. Oh, you talking about DC, or are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Clint during his press conference. He's talking about collaboration.
Yeah,
but that's everybody. Every coach says that. I mean, like coach speak stuff.
Yeah,
but he's worked with some of the great coaches that have done that. So you can have a little bit of trust. Well, outside of Dennis Allen, you can have a little trust in that. And that he means what he says. He's also worked with some great defensive minds with Mike McDaniel, Zimmer. I think he was on staff when Salah was there. So he's worked with some guys that are great defensive minds. So hopefully, that lets him know that, hey, I have an understanding what a defense should look like, and he'll be able to identify a really good defensive coach, because that's going to probably be his most important hire, especially if he's going to be a head coach that also calls plays. He's going to be essentially not able to spend any time in the defensive room, or really any time checking in on defense. Like maybe, a few hours out of the week. So he has to have a guy over there that he really trusts, that really knows what he's doing.
Yeah. All right, man. We about to get up out of here. I did want to get into like the Maxx Crosby stuff. Like it's just that's like a never-ending conversation. But just know where there's smoke, there's fire, and we'll be keeping an eye on this situation. I think he was at the presser. I think he was at the presser, from what I was told. I think Vinny reported that. You said what?
Genty was too.
If you know, man. That's because I know why. Worst fits. Hey, we got to come out with a segment. Worst fits. Worst fits of the week.
You're gonna be every week, bro. It's gonna be him and Russell Westbrook and SGA.
It's hella bad. I don't know what is he. I don't know what it is, man. But hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. I know it's a short show, but we'll get back to it later this week around the Shield. Finally, around the Shield, the return. Hopefully, we get someone on. Be a longer show. Next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. And Severe, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, everywhere. There's Severe Raider. Sundays and Wednesdays in the Raider Row Room. My guys, Chris from Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. Tuesdays and Thursdays, my dog, PharoahNFL, the 50-50 show and Around the Shield. Make sure you tap in with your boy, man. After this, I'm about to put back on that Clint Kubiak press conference and go back to sleep, man. So, get my 8 hours in.
Yeah, facts. All right, man. Hey, y'all can find me everywhere, FharoahNFL, all over social media, especially on YouTube. Definitely subscribe. And then Around the Shield on IG and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But we up out of here, man. We'll see y'all next week or later this week. Peace.